Welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining us in this live. Why does it feel strange today? I don't know. The live feels a little, maybe it's because I don't have food in front of me. I just have snacks. I don't know. It feels off. It feels strange. How are you guys? Come, help me finish my Ferrero Rochers. My Ferreros. It is, what is today? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, April 30th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I was wanting to touch on a topic with you guys, which I don't feel like it's my usual content. Might be, I don't know, this might be something new, right? Might be something we can start doing together. I'm not quite sure. We'll see. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and put this in so we don't get any trolls and we can live in peace in my YouTube channel. Because. Anyways, how's your guys' week going? How are you guys? What's going on? I had some interesting developments. My eldest, her birthday is coming up, and it's like in the worst. Strategically speaking, it's separated correctly, 2 weeks in between. But it's like in the beginning of the month. What's in the beginning of the month? Rent due. Okay, rent's due, car payments due, insurance, all this. And I'm sitting here and she's like, I want to invite like 10 girls and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta feed like 10 people. She wants to go to the mall, which we all know right now is like, anyways, besides the point. So it's been interesting. How's your guys' week? Hi girly, here watching you live while eating Jack in the Box. I've never had their egg rolls. Are they good? Or snacking. So I already ate my lunch, but since Nathan was live, I didn't want to go live. I was watching his live. So, I ate my food, sorry. But we can have dessert together. I did want to talk with you guys about something that's been bothering me because I'm a mom, like I guess I see things a little different. Hey, Miss Sparkles, welcome in. So I wanted to touch on this topic with you guys. Because as you guys know, I have kids. They make slight appearances if they like sneak in or whatever, but my page is not about my children. It's not about making them into child YouTube stars or benefiting off of their lives or anything like that. So do they make appearances? Very rarely. Is it going to be all about them? No, because for their own safety. But that is so good. That is so good. Sorry, that chocolate. Delicious. Before we get into the story though, quick update. I had a very freaking scary moment yesterday. My kids messaged me and they go, hey, we're having a fire drill. I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. And I go, okay, cool. 3 hours later, I get an email from the school saying that there was a child who took I don't think I can say this word on here, a PPU, and it was fully loaded and ready in his backpack. And I swear when I read that, oh my God, my heart dropped because I was like, excuse me? Why has it been 3 hours until I got this notification? My children told me, and why did you do a fire drill, not a lockdown? It was scary. Okay, I drove immediately, took my kids out, and was like, why did you guys do a fire drill, not a lockdown? And they're like, right now we can't answer anything, blah, blah, blah. The child was arrested and was in police custody. I'm not quite sure what that was yesterday. Maybe they're out. I don't know. But according to that kid, he was being bullied by older kids, so he brought it as protection, which is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's terrifying. It's scary. And I was like, I need more. I need more information. Like, what are you going to do to prevent this? Okay, because this is now the bullying issue from my daughter, what was that, a week ago? And now there's this. It's too much happening. The whole school model is not accepted. Bullying will be handled immediately or whatever. So I think they need to do a little more, a little extra. And don't get me wrong, my kids don't go to a school in the ghetto. It's not a preppy school, but it's not a bad school. And if the school is an A plus school, it's actually accelerated. So they're in first grade, they're in second grade. It's aimed for them to finish high school, like all school, by like 16. So it's not a bad school, and it's not a school for bad kids either. But that was scary. It was terrifying. It was one of my goddamn, it was scary, okay? So scary. But thank God nothing happened. Nothing escalated from there. Everybody is safe. My kids didn't even know. They were just like, we thought we had just a fire drill. So, but it was terrifying. It was so scary. And thank God, I don't even want to complain about money or having to like schedule anything with her birthday. I'm just happy we're having a birthday, because all those like news and everything that happens, it's just I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful. So whatever she wants, if I gotta show a little, then I guess I am, as long as she's happy. She deserves it. She's a good kid. Can't complain about mine. But whatever happened to sticking up for yourself with the fists? Yes, Gina. What did happen to that? Like, why are we escalating so much? I don't. Something needs to be done. I don't know what. I don't have answers, but I know something needs to be done for sure. It's scary. It's terrifying. And I had a situation like that when I was in high school, and I just laughed it off, and I was like, gangs, because it was a ghetto high school, okay? But now that I'm the parent and on the other side, I'm like, oh my God, no. So, anyways, she's gonna be 12. Can you believe that? I want to be a mom of a 12-year-old. Like, who said I was responsible enough for this shit or mature enough to raise adults? Wild. Anyways, Olivia said, I always told my son never to make fun of anybody or bully anybody because you never know if they snap and what would happen. Exactly. Exactly, Olivia. And that's why my daughter went to go check on the kid that was crying, because I always told him, if you see somebody feeling bad or whatever, they might need somebody. Like, what if they're the one person that prevents this because they're like, hey, do you just need a hug? Are you okay? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? So my kids, that's why my middle child got kicked for trying to do something kind. But, my son's friend just passed away. He was 18 and a 13-year-old. Oh my God, I am so sorry, Austin. Oh my God, that's so hurtful. At the park and the effects I show. It does. It does. There's no way around it. It's scary. It's traumatizing. It shouldn't be something that you would figure being like, this is America, right? Like, everybody's like, this is the land of dreams. This is a safe place. It's whatever. And then there's still these fears. So I unfortunately don't have answers. And when I do get some or some ideas to fix it, I will relay them over. But I don't know how to go about it. So, but yeah, God, I am so sorry about that. I am so sorry for the pain that all those children have to be going through right now. Because it's not just like a news story or like it affects people. It affects the people they know, the people they were around with, everybody. But I was sitting here and I was watching this new Netflix series. It's called Bad Influence. And I take notes, you guys, just for you guys. So it's called Bad Influence, okay? And it says, it's on Netflix. You guys can watch it right now. It says, The Dark Side of Kid Influencing. And, sorry, I was going to say, I got chocolate in my mouth. Don't mind my faces. But I was watching the show. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is the second TV show that a second documentary that I see about children influencing and their parents and things that happen. And the first one was, Ruby Frankie. And I was seeing that and how everything just went downhill for them and how bad it is. And now I'm seeing The Bad Influence, which is about Piper Rockelle and her mom, which is Tiffany Smith, and how obviously it starts off, I guess, pretty innocently, but they're documenting their the girl Piper Raquel, or yeah, Piper Raquelle. They're documenting her life, her experiences, and it's not just like here or there, like, oh, I managed to get this, or I managed to take video of this occasion, or let me share some information with what. It's not like that, right? It's like literally, hey, let's go do this, and I'm gonna record the whole time. You better smile. You better this. And I'm seeing all of these documentaries, and I'm thinking like, when is it gonna be enough? Okay, because we've heard already of child stars, right? Like Demi Lovato speaking up, and Britney Spears, and all these other ones where they got taken advantage of in the industry, in the movie music industry, and nobody stood up for them. And now they're grown up and they're like either broke, or, well, they're all traumatized in some way, but they don't even have money left because the parents took it all. They got used by the parents. They were the breadwinners. And now we have, I think it's called the Coogan law in certain states, okay? Not everywhere, certain states, where the parents have to put aside a certain amount for the child when they become 18 so they can have something left. But as far as everything else, there's really no protection, Like, there's things that they're around, there's things that they're doing that's not okay, and there's been light shed on that. But now we have the YouTube children, the kid influencers, and who's looking out for them? Because I don't think they fall under this Coogan law. And they don't have much protection because it's sort of just like recording. Like here, we're in my little office. It's not like a studio, it's not like a big production. So what did I just read? I feel like with all this stuff happening everywhere, we are experiencing a rare month long FOMO. That's true, Gina. It does. People are crazy. Yeah. But I'm watching The Squad, okay? And I took out notes for you guys. I'm watching this documentary. And it's content that starts with just Piper. And then they start reeling in other kids because obviously everybody wants that, to be rich, famous. Some kids, like my middle child, she loves acting. She wants to be in the spotlight. And so there's other kids that want to also, and like a lot of YouTube people, they collab. They collab with each other. You've seen me at Nathan's with other people. There's people from, I think, like California and like other Florida people that he's done it with because it helps expand and for you to grow. And I get it, but they turned this collaboration thing for other children and they called it The Squad. And they're doing like activities. Basically, there's a lot of videos where they were just copying older people, like, 20-year-old people doing other things. And they're just like pretty much remaking it, but for kids, right? And I saw a couple of these clips in YT videos and they start off pretty innocently and sort of cute. It does feel like you're just watching a little girl grow up, but then it turns really bad and really heartbreaking because, like, I want to say the money corrupts, but I understand that the intention was the money the whole time. It wasn't just like, oh, I want memories. Because I recorded my kids, I record their little voices, them saying certain things because I want to remember it, right? But they're recording nonstop for these children. And at some point, it's not even fun for them. It's like, you got to be like, for instance, let me slow down, okay? So Tiffany Smith is the mom, okay? And she is called the styled momager, okay? Momager, mom manager, right? And along with her and Hunter Hill, which I guess eventually they turned into like a thing, they turned this whole they turned the daughter into a business. And she's reeling in about $500,000. It's a lot of money. But it turns really heartbreaking, and behind these videos that you see is basically the mom, Tiffany, and Hunter being like, you better fucking smile. No, you need to do this a little more seductive. You're supposed to be making out with him. Like, get into it. Like, what are we directing at this point? Why are we cussing? Like, I thought we were capturing great moments. If you have to tell them to smile, look happy, or and they're not the only ones. I mean, look at Ruby Frankie. She does it to her son all the time. She's like, you need to smile. We're gonna retake this, or I'm gonna fucking kick your ass and stuff. That's horrible. At this point, you're not even looking at them like a child. You're looking at them like money. Like, I want money. I don't care that you're my kid. I don't care about your well-being. It's basically what they're doing. But of course, these are all the ones that are reported in Netflix. Not good at all, in my opinion. I don't like it at all. I don't. Like I said, you might see my kids sneak in a little bit. Maybe you might get a glimpse, but it's never going to turn into a channel where it's just them, or it's for, I'm not going to do that. But the worst part is, that's not even the worst that ends up happening, okay? This squad ends up growing. It's not just like 3 people. It's like a good amount of people. Hey, Desi, welcome in. And they're all together and they're filming in this house, and it starts turning aggressive, not just to the daughter, to the other children. Then it starts sort of like turning into an emotional manipulation, and then there's excessive working. Like, obviously they go to school for a couple hours, 1 or 2, wake up at 6 in the morning. They film all the way to nighttime. Sometimes they skip lunch. They don't even get food. It's just nonstop working, which is so unfair because even adults get a damn break. It'd be 7 days a week, from the moment they wake up to the nighttime of filming. And in some of these videos, they look exhausted. And they obviously question the parents, like, why did you let this happen, whatever. And at first they're looking at it like, we're growing it. But then Tiffany starts basically putting rules, like, you're the parents, you can't come into the house during filming, you have to stay out. So they have no idea what the hell's being filmed until they see it on YouTube. And it's easy to be like on the outside and be like, well, I didn't want us to be blacklisted. I didn't want, them to lose their careers or their hopes, or I thought they were good people. It just it's easy to say it when you're not there, but wow. The fact that the parents let the kids stay in the house is crazy. That is also another thing. Like, I don't even let my kids sleep over at family members' houses. And these people were like, hey, I met you like a month ago and you're going to help us get rich. Yeah, go ahead, sleep over. Which is absurd to me. Why would you do that? You don't really know these people. That you don't even really know family members. Why would you do that? But of course, like I said, it's like, at what point do you step in as like an outside observer and say like, hey, that's enough? Like, that ain't right, Anyways, so there's excessive work hours, but there's also inappropriate conduct, not just like making the kids have a boyfriend for views and making out in front of the camera, or a little kiss, or, oh my god, I'm gonna have my first kiss today video. That's inappropriate, but it sort of isn't as bad as it starts getting, okay? The more you watch into the show, the more you're like, oh my god, this is starting to get borderline really wrong, okay? So there's the whole crush content. There's also a lot of verbal abuse happening, but it's like Tiffany uses the dog. She holds the dog. She makes a weird voice with the dog, and she's like, oh, fuck you, you suck. That's still you. It's not the dog. Why are you putting the dog in front? And they're like, haha, or, they just play along with it. But that was in videos like that they posted. Why did people do that? Why are we making these people famous? That's crazy. I'd never even let my kids out of my sight, alone stay somewhere without me in the house. Exactly. No amount of money would change that. Too bad not all parents protect. Exactly. Yeah, to me that sounds like abuse. It is abuse. It is. I mean, it's emotional, verbal. It's not just abuse isn't categorized as the physical, right? So yeah, she does it under the guise of a dog persona type of thing. So the more you watch the series, you're like, ooh, and I've never seen these people. But I did go to my friend's house once and I saw a different channel. It's not this one that we're talking about currently right now, where the dad is filming his daughter with her boyfriend and he's telling them to kiss, and or how much do you know him, blindfolds his daughter and then lines up a bunch of boys and she has to feel their faces and their hands and see if it's something familiar and who it is. Why are we doing that to our children? That's another channel that I can foresee going downhill very fast, and we're going to see another documentary. But how far does it have to go until we start making laws or protecting against this kind of content? These are accounts that have millions of people subscribing. But why? Why are we subscribing to this? Why are we giving them a platform to be doing this to them, you know? So exploitation and abuse for sure. I don't remember what the channel's called because I don't let my children watch anything like that, and I don't watch any content like that either. I do love Rotten Mango right now though. Girl, if we ever get together, I love your show. Anyways, but like, yeah, why are we doing that? I just don't understand why we're giving them the platform. So then there's inappropriate content, right? But there's also pranks, and they're cruel. They're messed up pranks. Okay, these are like, it's mean. It's mean. It's bullyish. It's traumatizing. Okay, one of the ones that they go ahead and talk about on the documentary is the one where Tiffany hires two actors to pretend to be police officers and they arrest one of the ones from the squad. And there's kids like crying their eyes out, bawling, and like, I can't do this. I can't. And like a freaking panic attack because of this. Like, that's not a prank. Who's laughing? You're like, who's laughing at this? Because it's not funny. If you trip and fall, I'm gonna laugh. But how is this funny getting arrested? I don't I don't see it. Yeah. This kind of abuse and exploitation has been going on for decades. I agree, Desi. Remember the Shirley? Yes, yes. It's just, we're from the Shirley Temple. We're generations from that now, right? We're generations from it. Before that, when we didn't have social media, we were like making kids work in freaking factories because they had tiny fingers. At what point are we actually going to do what we say? If we're all protect our children, we love our children, the children are the future, when are we actually going to start doing that? When are we going to actually protect our children and start sticking up for them? Because at this point, it just looks like we're protecting the money, not the children. And I'm not okay with that. So the poor kid is having a panic attack in this clip where she thinks her friends are getting arrested. That's not okay. That's traumatizing. And then the worst one is there is an allegation where Tiffany, the mother of Piper, mails out her underage daughter's soiled undergarments to an adult man who's a fan. I think he goes through the fan name Morgan or Megan, something like that, but it's a man. And not only is she allegedly mailing out these undergarments and these soiled training bras to this person, whoever it is that they are, there's also allegations that she gave access to Piper. Like, he would call and she would be like, hey, how are you? How are you, Megan? Thank you so much for the Chanel bag and for everything you've been sending and whatever. So she was actually letting that adult person talk to the child, you know? So, hi, Chels, welcome in. That's disgusting. And one of the children, because I guess they were along with them when they were doing this drop off at the post office or the mail or whatever, and they were mailing out the undergarments. She asked, why would you be sending this? And this is quote from the documentary. I wasn't there. I don't know. Allegedly. She said, old men like to smell this stuff. She told that to a child. while sending her child undergarments, allegedly. Yeah. Now, I want you guys all to like remember these are all allegations. She hasn't been charged with anything. There hasn't been any proof, I guess, of anything. But I can only go off of what they said in the documentary, unfortunately. Now, this they did go ahead and oh god, did I write this down? God, I hope I did. I didn't write it down, but the former squad members that were in the YouTube videos joined together and actually filed a lawsuit, a civil suit against, Piper and, well, not Piper specifically, I'm sorry, against Tiffany and, what was his name? The other guy, Hunter? And Hunter. And they settled out of court for $1.8 million. But $1.8 million has to be divided between 11 people, which comes out to like 150, 160, 160,000 each, which no amount of money is going to cover the trauma. It probably won't even cover the damn therapy bills. But she still has her child. And she is still like Piper is their account. It doesn't exist anymore. It got demonetized in YouTube. But she moved over to other platforms. She moved over to Snapchat. She's on TikTok. There's a different, I forget what that one's called. And basically, children can put their stuff, their videos on that platform. But in order to subscribe and have access to the children's videos on that platform, you have to be 18 years or older. Do you see where I'm going with this? So you have grown-ups subscribing to children's channels to see their content. And according to, and minus the 33% from the attorney, yes. You see what I'm saying? Like, the damage, the money doesn't quite add up, but I don't know why they settled. I don't know the ins and outs. I can only go based off what I've seen. And she is currently on those platforms. And based on people that stayed a little longer in contact with Piper and Tiffany, her content was getting even more provocative and even more suggestive. And apparently there was times where they would do photo shoots and it would be nice and quirky, and then they'd be like, okay, we're gonna make content for that other platform, the one where the adults sign up for the children. All right, I need you to get into that headspace. You're gonna have to get into that. And then she would start doing more provocative poses, like sticking her behind out a little more sexual poses to post on that platform. So it's sick. It's wrong. And it's happening, apparently, allegedly. I don't know. I don't subscribe. I've never even heard of that platform. I didn't write it down because truthfully, I'm not going to tell you which one it is because it's gross. And I'm wondering, at some point she's going to turn 18, right? But she never went to school or public school. She just did the little stuff outside. What's going to happen? What's going to happen after this? All these child stars afterwards have so much trauma and so much hurt. And she won't, this is the betrayal from, allegedly a betrayal from her parent, her guardian, who's supposed to protect her. So how is she going to feel afterwards? If the person that's supposed to protect you didn't protect you. And it's sad because that's not the only person. I mean, look at Ruby Frankie, right? She physically and verbally abused her children, and then she used religion to hurt them, which obviously she's not the first person to use religion to hurt somebody because it's used for control, and for that, in many ways, I've seen it happen. But it's just the amount of hurt, right? And these children have their whole life and everything plastered everywhere, forever. Because there's documentaries now made, there's TV shows, there's whatever. Even if you took the stuff off of YouTube, you're gonna see it there. You're gonna see it somewhere. And Ruby Frankie was sentenced to 4 to 60 years in prison. Utah, thank God, they enacted a new law that requires earnings from children featured in content to be set aside for when they're older, which is cool, but that doesn't stop the abuse. That doesn't stop the taking advantage of them. So they'll have other kids will have money if that's happening in Utah. And it's not the only law there is. There's other laws around there, but that's why a lot of people moved out of LA, because a lot of the LA influencer YouTube kids had moved into LA to go ahead and, do their content or whatever. But if I'm not mistaken, they enacted a new law and a lot of them moved away. They're like, oh, now I can't take my kids' money, so I guess we're gonna have to move back to wherever we're from. If that doesn't say anything, I mean, you couldn't, why would you mind putting aside something for your child's future, especially if you're making good money? Why? It's one thing if you're leaving two paychecks behind and you don't have it. It's another if you're doing paycheck by paycheck. But if you have some extra, why? You know? It's disgusting. It sounds illegal, but yeah, I agree. Let's send those people out. Hey Cherokee, welcome in. And Ruby Frankie and Tiffany Smith, they're not the only ones. Like, just to mention a couple, okay? I started to write this down because I was starting to get pissed off because I was like, how are we just sitting by and not doing anything? Look at Mika and James Stafford. It says Stafford Life. The allegations against them is that they faced backlash for rehoming a child that they adopted. I think his name was Huxley, and he has special needs. And they used him for all kinds of videos. They used him for clout. They brought up their show and everything, and then they rehomed him. Así like, oh, I'm done. Vete basura. You didn't. Why would you adopt him just for clout? And he's expecting a family, not to be used as something for income. And then they rehomed him como si nada. I don't even know why that's legal, okay? I really don't. But it was definitely exploitation. It was. But once again, they're not the only one. We have the Fantastic Adventures. That one's Michelle Hobson. And Hobson was arrested for abusing her adopted children. Like, we don't have enough problems with these poor children getting adopted and traumatized from whatever situations they come. Now they're also having to be exploited for YouTube. If she got her channel was terminated and she faced multiple felony charges, but she passed away in 2019, so she never really faced anything. But there's also Daddy of Five, which was Mike and Heather Martin. And these videos were involving emotional and physical abuse of the child. Okay. They were both convicted for neglect and sentenced to 5 years of probation. Okay. At least it's in their record. But at the same time, it's like, right now we have Nurse Hannah, right? And then there's that other, the Jenkins or something. When is it enough? When is it enough? When are we actually going to stand up and we're actually going to be like, hey, all this time that we keep saying we're here for our children, protect our children, we want this for our children, when are we going to actually start doing it? Before I was adopted, I was told I was just a pay. See what I'm saying? That's not what they need. And I'm so sorry about that, Cherokee. They should have never told you that. That's a dick move. But that's what I'm saying. I was sitting here watching Bad Influence, and I'm like, this is the second documentary that I see about YouTube families or children being exploited. Some of them, what are they shopping? Are they shopping at adoption centers? And they're like, okay, well, let's see, I need him to be cute, disabled, so he can't speak up about all the horrible things I'm going to do. And what is this? That's not okay. That's unacceptable. And it should never happen to a child. And honestly, if this is adult content here, because I have it marked not for adult, for not for children. But if anybody does see anything, I mean, would you rather stay quiet and then later be like, I should have said something? Or would you rather be looked at like, oh, I'm a chismosa and I butt my head where I shouldn't have been, but at least it was checked up on? I'd rather be like, hey, you guys need to go check on my neighbors because blah blah blah, than to stay quiet and be like, shit, I should have said something. Because that's no. Mm-mm, absolutely not. And the worst part is, like, we also have that one kid that's been doing the toy videos forever. He's not 18 yet, but everybody's been waiting for that documentary to come out. and I'm sure it's going to be pretty heavy. I was in out of 14 home. God, okay, I'm so sorry. I found out being homeless and living. That's another thing I also see, that a lot of people are like, it's better than to jump from home to home, because it does. Sometimes it's not even you have a roof and food under your head. It's they abuse you verbally, they withhold food from you. So is it really better? Should they have not just helped the parents? Some children are taken away not because they're, being abused, but because the parents don't have enough money. But why pay somebody else to take care of the child when you can keep them with the parents? If the parents love them and take care of them, then I don't know. There has to be a way. There really has to be a way to do better. We need to do better. Do I have answers? Absolutely not. But I was really upset watching these. I was really upset because I love my children. You'll never see me exploiting them on here like, "Hey, come here. Okay, smile. Smile." No. No. Sometimes they come in because they want to, okay? And then we're like, "Hey, get out," you know? That's I just can't see me doing none of that. I don't see why it should happen, and I think we should have some laws against it. So hopefully at some point it's not just a state by state, but like a whole federal thing, like every damn state should be protecting the children. Isn't that the whole point? But yeah, that is my little rant today. And if you guys get a chance, maybe watch it. It's pretty interesting. I watched Ruby Frankie documentary. Is actually on Hulu, and the Bad Influence is on Netflix. So if you guys want to check them out, check them out. At least it could help you, I don't know, not watch those shows, not watch those things. I didn't want to tell my friend, like when I saw it, they were watching it. I didn't want to be like, hey, put that shit away. You should be watching. Because how am I going to go tell an adult what to do, right? But when I was watching, I was like, damn, this is really uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to watch this. The guy was literally telling his kid to kiss her boyfriend on camera. It was weird. I didn't like that. Mm-mm. Mm. The system is fucked up for all the kids that age out of the system. That's true. I also heard that once you turn 18, they're basically like, get the hell out. You don't have a savings. You don't have nothing. Where are you going? Mm-hmm. After being so much in the system and paying people month after month to take care of you, they should also put a little bit aside for the children that age out of the system to be able to have a house for like a year, to maybe go to college, and have something just so that they're not thrown into the world and they're like, all right, good luck. Hope you become a productive human being. That's an ass move. Mm-hmm. Being adopted by more than hungry people. Mm-hmm. That's not okay. That's none of that is okay. And then the worst part is that some of these people that are taking care of the children in the system, unfortunately, aren't vetted correctly. And they're abusive in all kinds of horrible ways that we've heard of in the news. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like, how much more do we have to hear? I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing all this horrible shit. But at some point, I don't know, society just has to get better. We have to start standing up. It's not like a mind your own business. Oh, somebody fell. All right, whatever. No, like we gotta start doing more for one another and as goddamn collective as a human beings. Especially for the children. The children, come on, dude. What are we having them for then? I don't know. I'm ranting at this point, but I think all of us in this channel can agree that as far as the YT thing, I don't like watching none of those channels. If they're not adults and they have children on there and it's like a child thing, it makes me uncomfortable because I worry like what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening. I don't like it. I don't. But hope everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. Wish me luck with my daughter's birthday. She didn't ask for a cake, you guys. Is it like, should I still get a cake? I feel like I should still get a cake. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But yeah. When I was younger, taking up kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, I was nobody's punching bag. If you try, see, that's what I'm saying too. Because if you have too many kids in a house, and I've seen people have 6 foster children in like a 3 little bedroom house, and you're sitting there and you're like, 6 children, and they all need attention because who knows where they're coming from, right? How are you paying attention that they're not being abused by one another or being picked on or bullied or whatever the case? If you have too many, how are you actually giving them the attention that they need? So, should you get a cake of? You're right, Hanjina. It's just we're entering that, like, she's gonna be 12, like preteen thing. I was telling her, I'm like, why don't we do something like go shopping, give you a spa or something, or and she's like, I want to hang out with my friends. I want to go shopping. And I'm sitting here like watching dollar signs fly away. Because everything's expensive. And she wants to go to the mall. And she's not going to want to go to the mall and grab like 3 things. She's going to want to be like, oh my God. You know how girls are. They're like, oh my God, I want to go to my Bath and Beyond. I want shorts. I want this. I want that. So, I don't know. I'm getting nervous. I'm overthinking it, aren't I? I am. I'm excited for her. She's turning out so good. She's such a good kid. So I was told I was not part of the family, and I was assholes, complete assholes. I am so sorry, Cherokee. I was 9 years old when that happened. That is horrible. That is. I'm gonna give you guys a little background story, okay? When I was 12, my aunt was murdered because we had a family rivalry, one another. They'd kill one of us, the other one, back and forth, back and forth. Anyways, she was murdered along with my uncle while having dinner, and my cousin saw all of this, okay? The other 2 weren't there. There was 3 total. So we adopted them. And by we, obviously I didn't make the decision, I was 12. But they joined the family, we brought them in. And for the majority of the part, they were in our house. But then things I didn't agree with. And obviously I wasn't an adult, but I was 12 and I knew it wasn't right. Because it was like, one of them was small enough to need diapers, and I'd hear them bicker about diapers, and it's your turn to put money. It's your turn to put money to, the siblings, one another. Or it's your weekend, they have to go over there, and then they would try to split them up. And I remember telling them all when they were together it's like, you think that we should split them up after their parents just died, and all they know, and we were complete strangers to them. We never went to that side because of the rivalry, the family rivalry wasn't safe. So they didn't know us. They came to live with us after they lost their parents, and then we're trying to split them up. I mean, they acted like they were, what's the word in English? Like, sort of how what Cherokee's saying, like they were, like we were forced to take care of them, and like they were unwanted. And it was horrible because I had no word in it, but I could see how wrong it was and how it hurt their feelings, Like, oh, we're going on a trip, we're going to have to leave you at your uncle's. What do you mean? Or, oh, we're going to Disney, we'll see you in 2 weeks. If we adopted them, and they're part of our family, they should be going with us. They are part of the family. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I'm gonna take them in, they are my kids now, not just like a fucking job that's Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday I can go drop them off with some strangers. And unfortunately they never got therapy either. They needed some. I knew it, because who the hell's gonna be okay after seeing that kind of trauma right in your face? Okay. But I know exactly what you mean, Cherokee, not from experience, but because I've seen how some people will treat them as like a burden. And yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. And I am so sorry you had to go through that. But let's do fucking better, you guys. So sorry to hear that. I know what it's like jumping from foster home to foster home, but it made me strong mother, wife, sister, and caregiver for my family today. Keep your head. Yes, yes, Agustin. Yes, yes. Keep it. All you guys keep your heads up. Don't. It sucks that you guys started off with that side of the world and knowing that side of the world, and no child should. And we need to do something. We got to do better. There has to be some freaking way to fix this. But thank you guys for hearing me rant. Thank you so much. Let's all, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions, maybe we could come up with something good and I don't know, submit like an initiative, ask our reps. I don't, that's how change starts, right? A couple people get together, they come up with some really good ideas, and then they start a movement. Maybe we can. Maybe we can come up with something. I don't know. We'll see. But I would love to be honest with you. I would love to actually start something. So if you guys have any ideas, put it in the chat, put it in there. Oh yeah, and if you don't mind, drop a like or two. I guess I've been talking on this, like rattling on. I didn't even ask you guys. Please double tap the screen, subscribe if you like. Usual kind of content is wild and all over the place. Get in for the ride. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. I gotta get back to regular life, pick up them kids. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. I do have actually some pretty good, interesting stories. Thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate that. Coming up. Okay, I just really wanted to touch this subject because my alarm. I gotta go pick up the kids. Love you guys. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for hearing me out. Have a wonderful day. Also, if you have any suggestions to what to do for my kid for her birthday, I would really appreciate it too. I don't know what the heck to do. Maybe bowling? I don't know. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for stopping by. Bye. See you.